Welcome back to another video. Bradford City have defeated Wrexham 1-0 at the Racecourse ground. What a win. And it's been very negative for a long time now. We haven't won since before Christmas. Obviously we had the fans form disgrace really that we had of an interview that did more damage than good. But one thing I didn't say that I probably should have said and needed to say was, well, at least we got the interview from Sparks, and at least we got honesty. But it just showed how poor of a football club we are and have been for far too long now under him and Stefan Rupp. So obviously we had that, and all we've had to look forward to is crappy cup games that we've scraped to the semi-finals. But I thought that was a classic away performance, the away performance that you need to put in. I thought we were a threat on the break, which we haven't really seen or been under Graham Alexander in recent times. And what we've really done in the last few games that you can see more clearly after a win, but when you keep doing it, it becomes more evident and you can respect it. But we've had 3 clean sheets in a row. Obviously Doncaster, crappy cup, whatever. But and boring 0-0 against Wimbledon, but defended really well. And a 1-0 win against Wrexham and defended really well. I think that's a tutorial on how to defend. We were resilient, resolute, solid, aggressive. We were gritty, and it was almost back to classic Bradford City, and not the classic Bradford City that we've seen in recent times. It was the Bradford City that we saw under Phil Parkinson and Stuart McCall, where everyone, get in, get deep, and don't shirk a challenge, and let's get at the opposition. And it was a performance that you can get behind. Going forward, there's a lot to improve on, and so much to work on under Graham Alexander. But in the meantime, these few games that we've got now to the end of the season, I don't think we're going to go up. I think playoffs, even though we've just beat Wrexham, we're still 7 points away, and a lot of teams have game in hand, and there's so many teams above us. But if, we can keep building the foundations, even if we get anywhere near, the playoffs, which some people might be just taking a look at now, I'm still whooping Sparks out because, I'm not a flip-flop. I'm not just going to be influenced by a win or 2 wins or 3. When we went and won 6 games in a row and went 8 unbeaten, I was still whooping Sparks out. I wasn't saying a lot because I didn't feel it were right to. When you're on a winning run, you don't want to be speaking negatively. But now I know from that winning run that I'm going to still bring it up because you've got to. I don't agree with the off-field problems for the club, but on the field, it's important that we back the lads, and it's important that we get behind them, but also praise them when they do well. And I thought today was a very good performance. And there'll be criticism and negativity around it. And of course, if we didn't win that, there would have been a lot of it. I wouldn't have come on here and criticised that performance myself, because I do feel like if you're in the top 7 and you got a point away at Wrexham, you'd be going, that's a good point. But instead we've nicked a win, and I think you've got to say we nicked it because we didn't really threaten them enough going forward. But when we did, we did look like scoring. Cook had a penalty, a really good cross from Halliday, but Cook, he made a meal of it, but it was a clear penalty. Aidan had his arms all round him, and I think it was Aidan who fouled Walker in the Carabao Cup game to win a penalty, but Ben Speedy gave as well. And interestingly, in my preview, I brought up his last 2 games for City, Gillingham and Wrexham, and he gave penalties for both City games in that, and he's given another City penalty, but this time we missed it, of course, with Cook, which were a pretty good save by Orokro. But a lot of positives to take from it, but there's still negatives. And like I was touching on previously, we have to work on the foundations going forward, because for me, I'm getting to a player ratings, but Chapman and Odra, he had moments, and Chapman had moments early on, but both of them just they can't hold the ball up. Cook, he's a focal point. He could hold the ball up for a good amount of time. Canova, he was pressing, he was intense, and he had his tempo up, and he could hold the ball up briefly, but I think too many touches he lost it a bit. But and Junk can hold the ball up, but for me, down that right side we were really weak, and that they were so much stronger than us down their left side than we were down our right, because Odra tried holding the ball up and he got outstrengthed. Chapman, when he attempted to even bother to hold the ball up, he got outstrengthed. But too many times, I've seen it a lot over Chapman's career at City, But today it was so clear, trying to do little flicks, trying to do a back heel, trying to do a turn, which is good. You need flair players and you need flair obviously in your team, but especially away at Wrexham, your priority is getting you back to the goal, holding it up and teeing it off to someone, and almost being like a number 9, a target man. And I know they're not those type of players, but you've got to be able to do that. And they didn't. And for me, Chapman got pulled off at half-time in the last game. He should have got pulled off at half-time in this one because he was weighing us down a bit down that side. Obviously, Richards got injured, which is a bit of a problem again. It wasn't really an injury. It was more of a concussion, I think. It went down on his face, and it was very good to see. I don't know if many will touch up on this, but it was brilliant to see the physio. I don't know what his name is. I don't know if it's Avison, the last name, but whoever it is, the physio, brilliant, because this is something that we've picked up on recently, that the fitness of the players isn't good enough, the injuries of the players isn't good enough, and it's something we need to be more cautious with, like playing Tariq Wright for 60 minutes after he'd not played much football, and similarly with Jake Young throwing him straight in and then picking up a little knock. So with Richards, he went down and the physio pulled him away and sent him back to the bench, and that's what you want to see. Managing the game but managing the player, and hopefully he'll be back for Tuesday now because we didn't risk him, but hopefully if not Tuesday because we're not going to risk him then, back for next Saturday against Sutton, because that's what you've got to do. You can't be risking players, and I just want to bring that up because it was brilliant. Alexander got his 4th yellow card as well. Again, don't know what it was, but I think the thing is with Alexander is obviously in the stands for his decision on last Saturday. So I saw him quite aggressive on the touchline, barking a lot down there. And I think he probably sees it as if he gets a second yellow, if he gets yellow, or if he gets sent off by accumulating yellows or just a straight red, I think he sees it that he don't care if he's in the stands because, he don't mind the view from there. So, it's good to see that, but I think his intensity on the bench fed through to the players. I didn't really see any player shirk a challenge, didn't really see any player have their heads down, and they're all up for today. And hopefully we continue that, because I feel like if you can put that performance into a consistent run of games, you can get somewhere. But the problem is you can't play like that at home. You've got to be more expansive, you've got to be more creative in the final third, and you've got to get the ball down a bit more. I feel like in the second half we mixed it up more and we got more reward from that. But at home games, you've got to play quicker, you've got to get the ball wider, you've got to get more shots off, you've got to get more chances created, because there were too many periods in the game, which is acceptable away from home, where there was dry moments for us where we couldn't gather momentum. But I thought we were really resolute against Wrexham, who threw a lot at us. I wouldn't say they cried through the kitchen sink at us, but they threw a lot of crosses in there. Walker claimed a lot of them, made some good saves. I'll get into him. But yeah, I thought we matched them pound for pound today, and that's a team that's fighting for the top 3. Yes, it's the best time to play them because they're not on a good run, but you've got to put that to paper, and you've got to then go and get 3 points, and that's exactly what we did. So I'll get into player ratings, and I've already touched on a few players, but Walker in goal, I think he showed today why we signed him. Made a brilliant save from Stephen Fletcher. He towered over Halliday and directed his header towards the bottom right corner, and he got down and saved it. It was a decent height, and I don't think he was quite full stretched, but he started to make the save, and a good one at that. Made a couple of decent saves as well that you probably expect him to make, but you've got to credit him for making the saves. And then a few tame efforts that Wrexham had that he could quite easily claim as well. But one thing I did like was his urgency. A couple of times he got the ball and he played it quickly in behind their defence to a 1, which Kavanagh ended up being offside, but he wasn't offside, but he blazed over even if he wasn't given offside by the assistant. Quick goal kick, I think it was, or free kick. Cook flicked it on, I think, to Gilead. He played it through to Chapman. Chapman first time to Kavanagh. It was a brilliant play, almost like Barcelona in the prime. And Kavanagh unfortunately blazed it over the bar. Bit more composure, and I think that's what we need to see from him. A bit more composure, and he would have scored. So a great play that from Walker. A very good game, and he gets a 4 out of 5. Brad Halliday gets a 4 out of 5 as well. He's just brilliant. He is brilliant. He's got the energy of a lion, of a jaguar, let's say. Never stops running. Defensively, brilliant. McLean didn't really get much delivery into the area as much as he would have liked. I thought Halliday read him really well. Gilead in the first half helped him out without getting doubling up on him. Then Tompkinson in the second half. And going forward, it became a bit of a threat for us and put a lovely ball in for Cook to get his penalty. So really good performance again from Brad Halliday, as you'd expect from him. John Tompkinson as well gets a foul 5. He was, for me, the most comfortable out of the back three. I feel like Platt getting his early yellow made him a bit more uncomfortable. But throughout the game, he was brilliant as well. But yeah, Tompkinson got the ball down a bit, played into the midfield, few good balls in behind the defence of Wrexham. And defensively, I thought he coped really well up against Stephen Fletcher, who I think early on in the game targeted him, felt like he could get at him in the air, and I thought he saw him off well. And another really good performance again from John Tompkinson. Matty Platt, 4 out of 5, contender for man of match, don't quite get it. Because when you're on a yellow card, I mean, the way Wrexham commentators were going on, you think that he killed a man. He should have been sent off well before he got even booked, apparently. He was colossal today, won a lot in the air, bit of S-housery in there, which you need, and what I liked, very aggressive in his play, and didn't look like making a mistake, and that's exactly what Matty Platt is, rock solid again. Kieran Kelly, or shall I say Kieran Clark, again, judging by the Wrexham commentators, if you were lucky enough to hear that brilliant set of commentary, then if you did hear them, I'm sure most of you muted it, but I didn't, because I get distracted if I turn the commentary off from the game, so I had to keep it on, and my ears were I now saw that they're hurting very much, because it was terrible. It really was biased on all metrics. And it was just disgusting commentary, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds has been paying him, because I'm sure it's the one who does the documentary for Welcome to Wrexham. So yeah, I think he slipped him a tenner for that bit of biased commentary. But anyway, and I'm sure he probably slipped him a few other things as well. But moving on to Kieran Kelly, who, again, Kieran Clark, he gets a 3, because I don't think he looked a bit more uncomfortable, less assured than the others, especially early on. He looked a bit shaky, he looked a bit rash, he looked a bit out of place sometimes and lost. He stepped up a bit when he shouldn't have, and sometimes did look like making a mistake, but grew into the game. And again, another good performance from Kieran Kelly, but it wouldn't be right to put him at the same level as Tompkinson and Platt from that game. But the whole back line, didn't look like letting anything to Wrexham, in my opinion, because I thought they all dealt with the aerial threat that Wrexham give. Richards, I'll give him I can only give him a 3, because he only managed about 30 minutes, but looked good when he was on the pitch. Gilead gets a 4, and he's my man of match, because I thought he was brilliant in midfield, let alone when he had to move out to the left. But I'll speak of him in the left. He dealt with everything that came down that side. Even when he got done, he burst so good to get back, and sometimes it'd go out for a corner or a free kick. Give us a good bit of play down the left side as well, coming in sometimes and playing some nice simple balls, but that helped us to calm the game down a bit and give us a bit of breathing space. And then in midfield, we missed his energy when McDonald had to go in there, because I thought Elliot Lee got more into a game without Gilead sort of marking him out of the game. So yeah, I thought he had a brilliant game again, Gilead, and just epitomises what you want to see from a Bradford City player. And hopefully a few more can take a note of what he does and what he gives to the team. Smallwood gets I'm going to say 7, gets a 4, equivalent of a 7. I thought he was much improved today, Smallwood, because he controlled the game a bit, took Sting out the game, which he needed to do. McDonald and Smallwood are too similar, like I say, I've already touched on it. It gives them a bit more space and a bit more time on the ball with them too, because they can't get out to him a lot. But he was up for it, and if you can get Smallwood playing like that, then you get a very decent Smallwood, and a brilliant Smallwood, I must say, because decent's probably not what that performance was from Smallwood. He got stuck into tackles. He You know, I mean, there were one really good tackle that the commentary team, again, you'd thought that he killed their lad. I forgot what he was called. I think it was Evans. You know, went flying in. It was a classic tackle, probably one you'd see from the 80s. But nevertheless, won the ball, got the man, but won the ball first, and it was a brilliant tackle. And apparently, it should have been a red card. But you want to see it from Smallwood, and he looked up for it, and he looked aggressive, and he looked like a bit of a leader today. So I want to see more of that from Smallwood. And if you see more of that from Smallwood, he will get more praise from every Bradford City fan. You can't disagree with that. Chapman gets a 1. A 2 maybe, but I'm going to give him a 1 because I thought he was the reason why we didn't offer any threat in that first half and in that first 60 minutes. When he came off, even Odra looked a bit more looked a bit more physical than him, and he looked to give us a bit more of a threat in behind as well with his pace, and he stretched him a bit more. He just gave us a bit more than Chapman was. I thought he was really poor today. Chapman didn't keep control of the ball, really weak on it. His first touch was off. He was just really poor. That's all I can say about Chapman today, and hopefully don't get in the team Tuesday, because I think there's a lot more players worthy of that shirt from what I've seen this season than Chapman in the last few games. Moving on, I'm trying to remember who played on the left. How can I not remember who played on the left? It was... how can I not remember? My mind's just gone completely blank. Apologies. I must say as well, it's unedited. You might need to turn your audio up, because I'm watching Girona Real Madrid at R5 and I want to get it out. Kavanagh. How can I forget Kavanagh? I think I like to judge players after 5 games. Walker's played 5 games, and I like the look of him throughout the course of them, because he hadn't had a lot to do in previous games, but today I think he saw the best of him. Kavanagh, it's his second game, first start, 110%, which is like what you want to see. Bit of S-housery. Composure's lacking, but he had a really good chance in the first half. I think it was only shot in the first half, if not one of 2. He got the ball, took it out with his feet, sharp shot into bottom left corner. It was tipped round the post by the keeper. And if you can see more of that from Kavanagh, getting the ball, turning, taking a shot, that's what I want to see in the final third from him. And defensively, I think you saw what you want to see. You know, tracking back, getting into a midfield shape, pressing at them, not giving them time on the ball. And that's what you want to see, 110% intensity, high tempo, and that's the type of player Alexander wants, similar to what Walker were giving us. So more of that from Kavanagh, and I'll be very pleased with the signing of him. And Andy Cook, he gets a 4. He missed a penalty, but he scored his goal, and I thought he was patient throughout the game, didn't have many chances, I should say. Held the ball up really well. I think there were a few aerials that he missed out on. Beat Gunner, they're a big side, but throughout the course of the game, held the ball up well enough for us and played it off to your Kavanaghs, your Chapmans, and sometimes they didn't quite have the control that you needed, but set the pace for us. And I thought, you know what, brilliant game for our main man, you know, because that's what he is. He gets a lot of stick now and then, but he is our man, and he's played 150 games for us now, 60 odd goals, and he deserves the credit, and he deserves a good night tonight, getting us a big 3 points. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you're new. Your support is massively appreciated. A big win in the context of things against Wrexham. It's always great to beat them, and you know, hopefully it can kick-start some, because we've built the defensive foundations. Got to get working on the final third and getting the ball into our strikers and mid-wingers a lot quicker, and then getting them into the game by them using the strength, because I think that's an area that we're lacking. We didn't create enough, but that's enough talking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and have a good one.